Hey guys! All right, so I am incredibly excited to dive in with you all on this week ahead as we focus on getting the foundation set with your journey. So, first of all, with my personality, I am like a let's just dive right in and go for it. So, I want to preface this with saying planning is not my favorite thing, but I have grown to actually love it. And it has become something that I realize is super, super an important part of my health and fitness journey. And it's something that now, when I sit down to do this, and this is something that I do on Sundays, today's Sunday, when I sit down to do this on Sundays, it really just helps me feel like I have a good grip on the week, and it helps reduce overwhelm as the week starts to go on because things come up, right? Like this is life. There's always going to be things to navigate. So if we at least take a little bit of time on our Sundays to get some things down, to plan ahead, is going to prevent some frustrations along the way. So hopefully you have taken a look at the Google Drive with the different tools in there. There's a meal plan, there's a checklist to help you with having success on preparing for this, and a tracker. So if you haven't done it yet, make sure that you get that printed up and ready to go today because we start tomorrow. So I want to walk you through, first of all, this checklist and talk to you about why each of these things are very important for you to have a grip on. So, number one, your why. Write it down. Why is this important to you? Why is your health and fitness journey important? And read it daily. This isn't just about a goal, but why does that goal matter? We all have goals, whether it's we want to get more fit, we want to be more ripped, we want to lose weight, we want to look good for our vacation, but why? Why does that matter? What we focus on grows. That's why writing it down and actually reading it and reminding ourselves of our why every single day matters. If I told you, all right, go out and I want you to count today how many blue cars you see total all day long. And you come back to me and you're like, okay, Kristen, I saw there were 56 blue cars. And I said, all right, awesome. How many red cars did you see? You would be like, I didn't look for red cars. That's not what you told me to look for. That's right, because what we are focusing on is what we're going to get more of in our life. And so we're going to focus on why this matters to you. We have to do that because otherwise we're going to constantly be looking for the reasons why we can't succeed at something. And instead, we want to look at for all the ways we can succeed. If we're focusing on the can'ts and the frustrations, you're just going to get more of that, and your mind starts to look for evidence as to ways to make that true. Versus if we look for reasons that we can succeed, your mind does the opposite. It's going to be looking for reasons to prove that that is also true. So just know that you are going to have obstacles along the way. That's life. Success isn't a straight line. You know, we want to think that it's just like, whoop, we're there, right? But it's not that. Our health and fitness journey is not that. Life is not a straight line. There's going to be bumps along the road. So just know to expect that. But we, in this group, we are focusing on helping you develop some skills for habit formation that's going to help you be able to navigate through the obstacles of life and the holidays and parties that we're going to be going to. Those things are not going away, thank goodness, right? But learning how to navigate through those things and still be able to enjoy them and not feel deprived, but also not have to feel guilty or like every time we go to these things, we're like, I can't have fun. I get completely thrown off track. Like, we're going to be giving you some skills in this group to help you be able to navigate those things in life, so that you don't feel overwhelmed and you don't feel stressed, and you can go into those things with the utmost confidence, knowing that you can navigate through it. So the why is the foundation for all of this, because challenges are going to come up. People are going to be drinking in front of you. You're going to be at parties and they're going to be like, here, have this. Like, why are you not doing this or that? Those things are going to come up. Okay, not everybody's going to understand. So habits, the habits that you have right now got you to where you are right now. And that's not coming from a self-bullying type of mindset. But if I think back on where I was 10 years ago before I started this journey, there were a lot of things, that were just bad habits. After dinner, we'd be watching TV at the end of the night, and my habit was like I always wanted ice cream. So every night it was a little bowl of ice cream every night. I was putting more creamer in my coffee than actual coffee. Like there were just little things, little habits that I had in my life that weren't getting me or serving me well or getting me to where I wanted to be. I started to let that scale define me. I remember getting on the scale in the morning and like whatever that scale said, if it went up, like that would dictate how I felt that day. It would dictate my confidence. And I would feel like, okay, I guess I just, can't eat today. Or I would overwork out. I would do things that weren't healthy. I didn't have a good relationship with food and with the scale, for sure. I was becoming a slave to that. And so that's what we want to break free from and help you have the confidence and know how to navigate things and have a healthier relationship with your fitness and with food in general. So I needed to get real with my why this mattered. If I didn't change my habits and the things I was doing, I knew that as I was growing my family, things like going to the pool with my kids, I'd be wanting to hide behind a t-shirt or put the towel around me really quickly or avoid the pool altogether or not be in the pictures with my kids. And I didn't want, and I still don't, this is my why. I don't want my girls, I have 4 girls now. I don't want my girls to grow up watching their mom constantly doing the chubby checks and seeing me not be confident and playing with them and having the energy to play with them and jump around in the pool and take them to the park and all of these things that I want to do. And so I didn't want them to see a mom growing up that struggled with that confidence, because they're going to reflect that same thing by watching me. And so while these things don't define us, they don't define us. I believe we are put here on this earth to thrive, to grow, to live our very best life. And so if we know that we are struggling with these things and we know we're not in a good place, and we don't have to stay there, we can get better. So we need a why. It is the foundation. And we need a vision for what we want our life to look like in 10 years, 20 years down the road. A man without a vision shall perish, okay? So I know for me that I want to be in 10 years, okay, my oldest will be towards the end of college age, right? And I know that at that point, I want to be able to go to do the tailgating. I want to be going to all the football games and doing all that fun stuff with them. And I'll have some who are still in high school. I want to be able to be at all their events and have the energy to be up late at night at the high school football games and watching them. And so I want to be living life. In 20 years, hopefully, I'll start having grandchildren. I want when those grandkids to run through the door, that I'm going to be able to pick them up above my head and welcome them in, that I'm going to have the energy to be able to take them on trips and not be that grandparent that's just sitting on the couch sluggish and never goes and does anything with them. And so that is my why. That is what I'm envisioning for my future and why I knew I had to make these changes in my life and create new habits. So the road that I was on when I was in my 20s was not going to get me there. And so I knew I had to make some changes. And this is where I started. Okay, so that's number 1. Got to have that why. That's the foundation. Get that written down. Number 2, you need to communicate with your family why you're doing this, what you're starting this week. Okay, and share with them why this is important to you. Now, your family may not be supportive. They may not understand or want to do this with you, and that's okay. That's why you have us. the 4 habits that I put in our group that you need for success, and the things that you need to create new habits in your life. One of them is the community, and you got to know why it's important to you, and you got to keep it simple, and we focus on the small wins. So we're going to talk about those things. But you've got this community around you. It is so, so incredibly important, but communicating with your spouse, with your family ahead of time is important, and they may not understand right now, but just ask them, hey, can you please be supportive of this week, and be encouraging for me. We're not trying to force this upon anybody in our life, but if you sit down and you talk to them first, it's going to prevent some stress and frustrations in the home. And it's okay if they're not ready right now. We have to be leading by example. And as we start to feel better and we're more comfortable in our own skin and we're having more energy, the people around us start to wonder, hey, what's going on? Like, I'm noticing this change in you. It's a good change. And that is what starts to make them want to come around. When I first started my coaching journey and I was starting to work out more consistently and following these programs and cooking healthier food and bringing healthier food into the house, I remember Greg was like, why are you doing this? Like, I'm not going to eat ground turkey. And, he would make little comments, right? But hey, you know what? Mama's doing the cooking. But eventually he came around, and now he thanks me. He's like, hey, thank you so much for helping our family be healthy and making these changes for us. So it didn't happen all at once. That took time and consistency with me showing up. So communicate with the family. Number 3, you've got your meal plan guide. Look through that, okay? Think about your week that you have coming up, and when you want to have certain meals, depending on what you've got going on during the week. You might want to cook some things in bulk so that things are ready. You might want to chop some things up ahead of time so that they're ready. So take a little bit of time to do that today and plan out when you're going to have what, okay? This is just going to help take a lot of stress off of you. And then make your meal plan, okay? Make it to the store. If you haven't gone to the store yet, today's the day. Get to the store, okay? It's going to help prevent some overwhelm in your life. And remember, if you're looking at the meal plan and you're like, oh, I'm like overwhelmed already, perfection is not what we're after here, okay? We are after making small little changes at a time. So what I want you to do is just go to the store and get healthier options. If you're overwhelmed, just start with going there and getting healthier options. Shop the perimeter of the store, Whole Foods, and stay out of the middle aisles, okay? Because the middle aisles is where a lot of the things that are quick, that are full of preservatives, the pastas, the frozen things, like frozen meals and stuff like that, those are the things that we want to get away from, and that we get in trouble with when we're in a hurry, right? So that's why sitting down on Sunday, creating a plan, doing your shopping ahead of time so that you're ready to go is really important, so you don't get tripped up with needing those quick fixes during the week. So again, we're focusing on making progress. If planning out the whole week is like, too much, shop the perimeter, and maybe you just start with picking 1 or 2 meals off the meal plan that you fit in. Of course, the closer that we follow it, the more results we're going to get, but we're working on building the foundation, and sometimes starting small and having those small wins throughout the week to get us going is totally fine, okay? We are working on creating new habits and giving ourselves grace. Nobody's perfect. You're going to have some slip-ups this week. I'll have slip-ups this week. I'll have slip-ups probably today. I know that happens, okay? But having a plan in place, having a good foundation with our why is going to help lessen that. All right, number 5, remove tempting foods from the house, okay? For me, it's things like Oreos, peanut M&Ms. If they are there, oh my goodness, it is so easy for me to just grab that and get myself into trouble. So if you know those things trip you up, don't bring them in the house. Or maybe you're like, well, Kristen, like my kids, they've got these goldfish and fruit snacks or whatever. Okay, put them up high where they are inconvenient and very difficult for you to get to where what this does is it creates a pause to where if you're like, okay, I really want that Oreo, but you gotta like get a step stool out to get them and reach to the top shelf, or maybe they're like above the fridge. There's just like super inconvenient for you to get to. This creates a pause where you have to think like, do I really want that right now? Is it really worth it to me? Okay, and it makes you think about, all right, why is this important? Do I really need that? And maybe you go distract yourself with something else for a little bit to get you away from that temptation. And makes you think, like, what do I want more? Do I want the Oreo, or do I want to be working on creating these new habits in my life that help me get closer to what my why is? All right, number 6, get to the store. Again, I said that. If you haven't done that yet, do that today. 7, take your measurements and your before pictures. I know some of you are like, oh my gosh, I don't want to do that. Like, that stresses me out. I promise you. You will thank me later, okay? That scale does not tell the whole story, okay? So we cannot just rely on the scale to dictate to us if we're making progress or not. There's so many things that impact the scale. The time of month that it is for you, for women. Maybe last night you had something that had a little bit too much sodium in it, and so the scale went up a little bit. You know, maybe your muscles are super sore, so you're retaining some extra water. Like, there's a lot of things that go into play here. And so we cannot just rely on the scale. There have been so many times that I have been through my journey, you know, following programs, and maybe I'll get on the scale and I'm like, what the heck? Like, it's gone up 2 pounds. And then I'll put my before photo next to where I'm at now, and I look at it, I'm like, well, I look more, I look thinner, I look like more toned, and you can see that there's change happening. So again, that scale is not really telling the whole story. And so and remember, taking these measurements and your progress pictures, this is getting on the scale is helping you have, it's a tool, okay? It's not a way to let it define you, but looking at it from an objective place. It's where I am now and thinking about where I want to go, okay? And using it just as feedback, all right? Next step, when are you gonna check into this group, okay? The community part is so important. That's why it is a piece of the habit formation and something you need. Birds of a feather flock together, okay? My parents used to talk about that. I didn't understand it till I became an adult. Now I totally get it. But who you surround yourself with, you are the sum of the top 5 people that you're around. And so maybe people in your life right now aren't wanting to move in the same direction as you. That's okay. That's why we have this group. We have one another. And loving on one another in this group, okay, is so, so important because you reap what you sow. I truly believe that. Okay, so we're at 18 minutes. I'm gonna try to finish this up in the next 5. Tracker. Now, we're moving on to the tracker, your action tracker. I did not like to track before, but I will tell you, people lie, right? Like, we all go into things with like the best intentions. And we're like, well, I meant to work out like 2 days or 3 days this week, and like, I just didn't get to it. I meant to drink more water. Like, that was my intention. The tracker doesn't lie, right? It helps hold us accountable, and this is going to help you be able to look back and evaluate your week. And again, we're not doing this from a self-bullying, like, I suck type mindset, but a feedback. It's a way to give us feedback, like, okay, this is what I did well this week. Here's the things that I need to work on. Do I need to get more water? Do I need more rest? Do I need to figure out a better way to fit in my workout? So first thing, you need to figure out, I want you to focus on setting the goal of having some sort of movement 5 out of the 7 days this week. Okay, if you aren't sure what program you want to follow, we've got a list of samples for you. Start with that. Start with playing around with some of those samples so you can find a program that you enjoy. The best type of workout you're going to do is one that you like doing, is you're more likely to show up for it. We have so many options for all different fitness levels, for all different types of things that people love, whether it's yoga, it's weight training, cardio. So there's something for everybody. And if there's a day that you just can't push play on a workout, maybe instead you go for a 30-minute walk with your kids. Just get moving. That is the point, okay? Again, this is not about perfection, but making some progress and getting ourselves up and moving and making little small tweaks. Why is movement important? This is not just about like, I'm gonna get ripped, right? Like, there's more to it than that. It helps our lymphatic system, which helps our bodies be able to detox, because there's a lot of things in our environment that play a role in how we feel and our energy and weight loss. And sadly, there's a lot of things in the air and on our foods that is building up toxins in our body. And so movement helps to get those toxins out, because the lymphatic system needs us to move. It has to do with the blood flowing through you. So if there's no movement, things get stuck and it builds up in our lymph nodes, and that causes inflammation, and inflammation is what leads to disease. So I want you guys to move your bodies, whether it's pushing play on a workout that we have or just getting out and going for a walk. All right, next thing, water. Half your body weight in ounces. All right, that's your goal to aim for. We can't lose weight. If we're not drinking enough water, our body is made up mostly of water, and so if we're dehydrated, that's a problem. It's going to cause you to have less energy if you're dehydrated. Your muscles aren't going to be able to repair and recover as well. So we need the water. You'll also be more sore if you're not drinking enough water every single day. Your digestive needs it to help, again, here's that toxin word, flush out the toxins in your body as you go to the bathroom. All right, so half the body weight in ounces. Some of you might be like, oh my gosh, I don't like water, I don't like the taste. I get it, like it's plain, right? Add a little bit of sliced fruit to it or something if you have to, and start small. Maybe if you're like, okay, I need 100 ounces of water, maybe right now you start with a goal of 80. If you're not used to drinking water, start with 80 ounces or 50 ounces and work your way up to 100 ounces a day. Small momentum goals is what's going to help progress you forward. So start small. Don't stress over it. Sleep. This is a big one. It is big. So aiming for 7 to 8 hours of rest a night. Some of you are like, what? You got to figure out, when are you going to go to bed at night? Okay. We need rest. 75% of our HGH is released by around midnight. So if we're staying up till midnight or later, you're missing out on this, and our body needs this. Okay, this is important for fat loss and for stress and helping our bodies operate right. And this is when your liver resets at night and helps, again, detoxify your body. And we need to get into that REM sleep mode. So when are you going to bed at night? Turn off Netflix. All right, I know, like our world right now is like, how many Netflix shows can we watch? Like, it's a cool thing, right? And I get it, but we got to make sure that we're getting enough rest. What's more important to you, right? How you feel, or staying up late watching Netflix episodes and waking up groggy and feeling like poo the next morning. Food journal. Tracking what is going in your mouth. When we write it down, it makes us start to think about it. Oh, I'm grabbing food off my kids' plates. Believe me, I've been guilty of that too. But when we're writing down what's going in our mouths, we are less likely to be doing that. So, and again, this is a self-evaluation thing, not to beat yourself up and say, I suck, shoving goldfish in my mouth, eating the kids' leftover pancakes, like, I can't do this, right? That's not what this is about. It's just about like feedback. This is a tool. Okay, so here's some things that I need to work on next week to improve, okay? Self-reflection. And then figuring out how you feel. Did you have something with too much gluten yesterday, or for example, and maybe now you feel sluggish? You'll start to notice trends that there's certain things that you eat or drink that you start to realize, I don't feel so good when I have those things. Like my daughter, for example, if she has a milkshake, she regrets it. Like her stomach is all torn up, And so it's a self-reflection thing, like, okay, we know that when we have this, this is how we feel. So the next time that comes up, maybe we think about, oh, last time that didn't go so well, okay? When are you gonna unplug? When are you gonna put the phone down, like get outside, look at the trees, breathe in the air, be with your loved ones, like not thinking about like, let me do my Instagram stories or take a picture here or there, like totally unplug. This is so good for your stress level. Get outside, go for a walk, play basketball with your kids, just something that helps you get away from all the social media and email and all of those things, like to truly just like truly rest your mind. Plan out the next day. I always think before I go to bed at night, like what do I have to do tomorrow? Like writing down like my top 3 things I need to do. Thinking about, okay, based on my day tomorrow, when am I going to fit in my workout? What meal do I need to make tomorrow night? Maybe because my kids have gymnastics, so I need to pick a meal that I can put in the Instant Pot, something that maybe I need to make sure I prepare earlier in the afternoon so that we don't get stuck with, I don't have time to cook because we got to get to gymnastics. And we end up going through the drive-through. So think about the next day and what you're going to plan. When are your rest days going to be? Like we say, never miss a Monday, but maybe Mondays for you are extremely hectic, and maybe Monday needs to be your rest day because you've got all these activities and work and things on your plate, and maybe that will be your rest day, and that's okay. Focusing on the wins, big or small. This is so important. This is important for habit formation, is focusing on the wins along the way. So many times this goes back to what we focus on grows. We start focusing on the things that didn't go right versus the things that did go right. And we want to focus on the things that are going right so that we get more of those things in our life. Maybe you didn't make it to working out as many days as you wanted, but did you work out 4 days this week and you usually don't do it at all? Awesome. Like that is a win. Did you move your body 20 minutes today? Did you get 80 ounces of water, but you're aiming for 100, but you still got 80 and it was better than the 40 that you usually get? So these are things that we want to be focusing on because what you focus on grows. Interesting study that, I don't know if you've heard this before, but they were growing these 2 sets of plants, okay? Same soil, same water, same amount of sun, all the same, right? But they were speaking life over this one set of plants, like, oh, you're so beautiful, and like you're growing so well, like so amazing. And then these plants over here, it was like, you suck, like you can't do this, like you'll never grow. And you know what was crazy? Was the side that they poured life into, those plants that they spoke positivity over. They grew huge and had beautiful colors. But the side over here, they didn't grow. They were dying. And so that is what we've got to do for ourselves. We have to speak life over ourselves. Our thoughts, I'm so big on this, our thoughts control our feelings, and our feelings drive our actions. And so we have to work on being aware of what the thoughts are in our mind and learn to change the tape. We all do it. We all do it, right? But awareness is that first step, okay? And just recognizing that we're doing it and learning how to be intentional about changing what we're saying to ourselves. So that's all I have for you guys. I hope that was helpful. Remember to check in with us daily. I'm going to be sharing tips, and we're going to be evaluating our day throughout the week and loving on one another. Have an amazing day. Thank you for being a part of this.